Well, a very good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you might be in the world. Welcome to the channel. I'm Anna. I'm in Perth, Western Australia. And if you're new to the channel, of course, I like to put together informational type videos, just sharing the knowledge, the experiences, and hoping to engage people in a conversation about, certainly when it comes to the crystals at least, about their experiences. So I do invite people to put their comments up because I'm not the be all and end all on any subject whatsoever. Before we get into the content, though, today, of course, we're going to be talking about Iolite. I just want to remind people that yes, my videos can sometimes be a bit on the lengthy side. For those reasons, I put timing stamps in the description of the video so you can just jump to the areas that you would like to. Just a little bit of fair warning. Sometimes my little doggy gets a little bit active when I'm recording, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm just pushing on through it. So if you hear a bit of thumping around on floorboards, a bit of a squeaky toy thing happening, that will be the dog playing up just a tad. But anyway, without further ado, just want to say thank you very much for being part of my journey. And now let's crack on and check out Iolite. So when I'm talking about iolite, I'm actually talking about blue iolite, and it's kind of a purple, light blue type color. This image here is just a sample of what you will find online. Well, if you're looking to buy it, obviously you're going to find it offline as well. But just to give you a bit of an idea, the iolite that I've had in the past has basically been more transparent. I've got a few images coming up that we'll have a look at, but this kind of color, absolutely stunning stuff. And the iolite that I've previously had has been as jewelry items, or I think at one point I did have some in the rough. I can't remember now. But anyway, this is an example of it in the tumbled form. It's also known as, or by other names, which is water sapphire or cordiorite. And I think if we were to say that it was an indigo blue, yes, maybe. It varies. We'll see as we go through. When it comes to the chakras, of course, it should really be no surprise that it's most definitely linked with the throat, the brow, and the crown. And when I say most definitely, a lot of the time with crystals, the color of the crystal actually relates to the specific chakra. And so it would make sense there because we've got the different shades and hues of iolite that it is linked with these three specifically, but it's also linked with the heart chakra. And this is because one of the attributes of iolite is where it links and connects the mind, the throat, the mind, brow, and heart more so than the other ones. But it also is a crystal with the attributes of unity, which is uniting those aspects of mind, body, and spirit as well, which is the feelings, the thoughts, activity, doing the physical, that kind of thing. I just had a mind blank there, can you tell? So speaking of the metaphysical attributes, it's definitely a crystal that is believed to enlighten a person's vibration, that is, speed it up. So this whole soul expansion, spiritual growth and development is a key part of the attributes of iolite. It's recommended for those people that work in the metaphysical professions, if I can speak, such as tarot readers, astrologers, mediums, anybody that works with energy, if it's healing energy, doing channeling, that kind of thing. Other things, I should mention there, it is attributed to actually open a person's psychic gifts up, particularly things such as the visual ones. And I mentioned channeling. When we're channeling, it's not just about healing energy per se. Sometimes we've got channeling of communication and messages. So it's believed to promote that, and also visions, if people are seeking to develop their visionary aspects or their clairvoyance. It's recommended for people who are in the artistic fields because it's supposed to promote and inspire and motivate creativity. So recommended for people such as writers, musicians, singers, dancers, anybody that does any form of artistry. Other attributes include protection, particularly travel, wearing it as an amulet. What else can I say? Oh, obviously, yes, look, when we're talking about opening up to the spiritual gifts and revelations and that kind of stuff, sometimes you get crystals such as Iolite, which is believed to remove obstacles on the life path, and that would be in a physical sense. Which actually, I better not forget to say this. So, when you remove the obstacles, it actually helps a person to pursue their divine plan, their divine path. If you're into astrology and star signs and you're looking for crystals that are recommended for your specific star sign, first of all, I would like to do that big disclaimer, which is I don't really worry about stuff like that. I think if you're drawn to a crystal, you feel the pull to get it, then you get it. It doesn't matter what your star sign is. But it is apparently believed to be recommended or beneficial to those people that were born as Taurus, Sagittarius, or Libra, and even the Cancer sun signs. Gee, I'm going to sit that one out. I don't know why they would recommend it. It's a very wholesome, shall we say, crystal as far as the energetic properties go. So I would say all, actually. My gut instinct is it's suitable for all people because of the way that it promotes the development of your gifts. From a mineral perspective, I think the first thing to acknowledge is, it's supposed to be rare, but it's not super rare. And also, the other thing is, too, for this video, what I'm talking about is that bluey, almost blue violet color. Any of those, or the pale blue, they're the type of iolite that I'm particularly drawn to. But apparently, it does come in shades of green. It can be a bit brownish. Sometimes you see the tumbled stones for sale with a little bit of brown in them. I don't find them as pretty. If it's got a bit of brown on it, it's probably going to do just a little bit more grounding, because when you're working with the higher chakras, of course, which is what Iolite does, there is actually a need to at least ground after you've used it, or to use it with another grounding type crystal as well. But anyway, the important things for you and I to know, bearing in mind that I'm not a geologist, I'm not a gemologist either, is actually the geos, or the mineral type group of people, they refer to Iolite as cordierite. And this is why when I was looking for images, I couldn't initially find a lot of Iolite. Iolite tends to be the name, apparently, that the gemologists or the jewelers call Iolite, which is why I'm sticking to it, because that's the name that I like. Or water sapphire sounds absolutely beautiful as well. Anyway, as far as hardness goes, it's not super soft, which is interesting because when you look at it, it does seem to have a few fractures in it. Most of the types that I've seen, I think if you can get a piece that doesn't have the fractures in it, you're really looking at gem quality there. So those are the ones that are probably a bit more pricey. From a transparency perspective, it can be translucent to transparent to opaque, so you can see through it. But of course, a lot of that depends on the quality. It does have a smooth and glassy luster to it. Looks a bit glassy, looks even a bit crystallish. Or when I say crystallish, I'm talking about things like your clear quartz and that kind of thing. It looks like that at a glance. As far as sources go, this is why I say there's a lot of places where it's sourced from. You can see here you've got Canada, India, Myanmar, which is what we used to call Burma back in the day, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Tanzania even. I've seen some nice pieces coming out of Tanzania, but you can see that it's also found in the US and parts of Europe as well. So as far as buying tips go, I mean, really, it is the stock standard. Just a reminder, if you're buying anything online, you want to have a clear idea about what you're purchasing, and that includes things like the dimensions of it, the weight of the crystal, cost. If you're buying from overseas, perhaps look at doing a currency conversion, look at your freight costs as well. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy stuff from home than it is to import it. That's the stock standard. Most of the pieces that I've seen have been of the smaller scale. I haven't seen a lot of the bigger ones, but apparently they're out there, which is why I put the image up of the sphere. And because while these images aren't particularly good, you can see that there is differences in the colouring, and also you can see those little fine cracks in it as well. I put the image up of Indiolite because when I was doing my Googling and trying to get information about it, one of the things I learned was that cordierite, which is iolite, is basically, it said the word dimorph. I had to go and do a Google of what that meant. And it means that it's got the same mineral components as iolite. Iolite and indiolite have the same mineral component. It's just that indiolite forms in these crystals, you know what I mean? Whereas if you look at the other images, it grows on a host rock with a different shape, perhaps a bit flat or whatever, if that's a good description. Not particularly, but I'm doing my best. I can't think of anything else here to add to it. And basically, I think I'll throw it over to you to give me your feedback and information when you've been buying it. Now, as far as the attributes go, it is a deeply spiritual crystal. This is where it's got most of its benefits, apparently. One of the things that I read, it's not something I observed when wearing it as a pendant or a pair of earrings, but I've got some Iolite. I've actually ordered it. Should be coming to me in the next couple of weeks, and some of it will be tumbles. So my intention is actually to test it out. But one of the things that I read was that it's believed to produce a type of electrical charge when it comes in contact with a person's auric field. So if you're energy aware, you may have experienced this. I've actually experienced the electric charge with different crystals. Can't remember what they were offhand, but even with some of them, it's almost a static thing as well. But I would like to test that out with my Iolite when it arrives. Anyway, it's said to promote astral travel and interdimensional travel. So if you're looking to develop those skills, I guess it is a bit of a skill, then you might want to attempt to do that while you're holding a piece. As far as your aura and chakras go, it's believed to align and repair the layers of the chakras while also linking, as I said before, the higher chakras together, which is a connection and a form of unification. But the same with the astral bodies. If you've looked at some of the images of a person's aura, I'm just trying to think, most people think of the aura in the way that I've got the image up for the chakras, where I've got the person sitting within the white bubble, but the actual aura is more expansive than that. It's got a number of layers to it. Your mental body, emotional body, astral bodies are the first ones that I can think of offhand. And so what it's said to do is actually link those first layers of the astral body together as well, which creates a better sense of balance, I guess, for the individual from a physical and emotional perspective. If you're looking to get your messages, guided messages through dreams, it's supposed to help, I guess, open a person to be receptive to getting messages through their dream or sleep state and to recall them and as well as interpret them. Just a tip here as well is if you're looking to do that dream work, it's always beneficial to keep a notepad by the bed, because quite often when you first start doing that kind of thing, you wake in the middle of the night from a dream, and it just seems very vivid at that time. Otherwise, when you wake in the morning, you just get in the habit of writing down any recollections, because a lot of the time it's symbolic. And this is what Iolite allegedly helps you to do, is to develop your understanding and awareness of symbolism. What else? I've mentioned the energy, the channeling and the healing, the light body activation, of course, that's a process of enlightenment. And when we talk about enlightenment, we're talking about speeding up the molecular structure of a person's aura. That is what they refer to as raising a person's vibration, if you like. That is different words, different strokes for different folks. Light body activation or enlightenment is part of that description as well. So it stands to reason that also it supports a person to be able to access the higher realms and to communicate with the higher beings or light beings. Supports a person to find their life purpose and to be able to walk it. If recommended for people that are doing meditation, by the way, particularly if they're doing guided meditations as part of healing and their own spiritual and personal development. I've mentioned the protection aspect, I've mentioned the psychic gifts. I think it's probably when we're talking about psychic gifts, it's probably a good time to mention that it's supposed to promote the vision aspect. And when we talk about having visions, we're also talking sometimes, if not most of the time, prophecy, prophetic type visions as well. Recommended, or I don't know so much that it's recommended, but people that do the shamanic journeying, which is kind of the astral as well, but it's more purposeful, they could do a little ceremony and perhaps have that if they do it on a table or hold it in their hand. There's another thing that came to mind with me. I was just thinking about that, and I don't think I've put it on there. I'm trying to remember it. But anyway, being able to access the universal knowledge and wisdom. I just remembered past life is the other one. I haven't got it on the slide here, but I will actually update this in a moment. When you're tapping into universal knowledge and wisdom and going into the higher realms, yes, you can access the information like your past life and even very clear outlines of your life path, life purpose, even your soul pack, information like that you can access when you go into the higher realms. So, from a physical perspective, just a reminder that you would not disengage from your doctor if you've got any physical health issues, but you could actually use your crystals comfortably in the knowledge that they can be a complement to whatever your doctor is prescribing for you. And what else would I say with that? Just if you've got any concerns about using any crystal or doing anything, then see your doctor. And in this instance, I want to say, yeah, look, one of the, I would call it a little bit outlandish as far as the attributes go. Once again, not my experience, but it might be worth me giving it a go. It's supposed to be good for doing physical detoxification. And actually, one of the claims was that if you're wearing Iolite, apparently you don't get drunk because your body is just automatically detoxifying the alcohol, apparently. So this is why I say, look, you get some outlandish stuff there. I try and keep an open mind and go, well, okay, but I'm not going to put it to the test. Okay, it's also supposed to benefit people that have got stomach and intestinal issues, so assist with digestion. I'm not sure how that works. Hair and nails I can understand, because if you're talking about the throat and brain chakra, you're looking also at your immune system. So if you're able to absorb nutrients, then you're going to have better hair and nails and skin even, actually. If people suffer from headaches such as migraines, it's recommended probably put a piece under your pillow or something like that. Meniere's disease, if I've pronounced that correctly, that's, just let me look at my notes here. It's supposed to be an inner ear disorder that causes episodes of vertigo. If you've got spinning sensations, fluctuating hearing loss, or the ringing in the ears, that's all supposed to be associated with the brow chakra, actually. So it will benefit, theoretically, those kinds of conditions, the eye and ear problems. I would actually even go as far as saying sinus, if you suffer from sinus problems, because it does govern the brow chakra. What else? Sleep, if a person suffers from nightmares and has them recurring, or if they have sleep disorders such as insomnia, it would be recommended. It's supposed to strengthen your constitution. One of the things that I feel it would be beneficial for, and comfortable actually saying that I believe it would be beneficial, is actually nerves and neural repatterning, because this is really any crystal that has some of that veining in it. So if you had a health issue that required repatterning, and that can include behavioral or psychological disturbances, cognitive problems, even frontal lobe problems, you might want to get a piece of Iolite and test it out. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, if it's got that veining on there, I always see that as being associated with neural pathways and also nerve endings. So if you've given it a shot, or you've got those issues and you're going to give it a try, please feel free to let us know how it works for you. You can see here that there's a wide range of emotional, psychological benefits of Iolite that are attributed to it, ranging from the attitudes, your beliefs, the way you think, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go into all of those because you can always pause the screen and look at it. But basically, if somebody suffers from some in depth emotional wounds, such as trauma, then it would be beneficial for people that have got PTSD. Um, Once again, I would say, however, from my perspective of understanding chakras and some of these ailments, I wouldn't necessarily have said that iolite would be good for trauma conditions, because for me, they're generally, the way I understand it is they're generally stored in the higher heart chakra. But I guess because there is that link to the heart center, if that's the case, then we would actually see benefits for the higher heart chakra. But I don't know that it would be a dedicated crystal for PTSD. However, worth a shot. Um, what else? I would say probably the biggest benefits as far as the emotional healing goes is through the fact that it's supposed to support this inner reflection, the going and really looking at who and what you are, what your motivations are, what your triggers are, and getting that understanding of self and learning to have that emotional maturity and responsibility. And once we've got that, then our relationships tend to improve. It's supposed to promote if people are in relationships that are codependent, quite often they suffer emotional anxiety and some of the overwhelming thoughts that occur with that. So iolite is believed to encourage emotional responsibility and to resolve any power and control issues that a person might have. Power and control is a huge problem within relationships because one person feels like they're being told what to do all the time. They can take on a victim role, whereas the person that is really focused on the power aspect can become the bully. So obviously, if you can address the power and control issues, you're going to experience healthier relationships. One of the things that I did see as far as attributes go is that it is supposed to strengthen and heal family relationships, particularly especially where you've got blended families or where you've got sibling rivalries, um, and where there might be perhaps tensions and stress with a step parent and a stepchild, that kind of thing. It's supposed to help resolve a lot of those issues. And I would hazard a guess by saying that it promotes this honest, open, transparent, authentic communication in peaceful ways, because a lot of the time the relationship problems, they can be resolved through communication, mediation, and negotiation. One of the different things, and I just see this as being an attribute, is if people struggle to balance their finances, it's supposed to help with that. Of course, you could put that on any of these slides, really. You could put it down as just a general healing attribute, but I think if people are struggling with financial issues, that has an automatic, for most people, connection to the emotional state, because people start stressing out. They might worry, especially if they're doing that saying of using one credit card to pay another, which we say is robbing Peter to pay Paul. What else have I got written here? As far as your personality goes, it's supposed to do that real balancing of the yin and the yang aspects. Now, just a reminder, the yin and the yang is the caring and the loving, but also the protecting and the physical aspects. So it's taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually to get that work-life balance. It's also believed to support basically career success by clearing the pathway for you to be able to have the career progress that you would like. And if you're trying to get your perfect career, if you've got a dream job that you would like to have, then basically you would wear some iolite as part of trying to achieve that goal. Certainly believed to support clarity of thought, focus, concentration. And if you've got an overactive mind, if you tend to overthink and be over analytical, it helps to calm that and to get some precision within your thoughts. Now, most iolite that I've seen, it hasn't been particularly large pieces, but bearing in mind that I've seen, as I do this video, that you can buy it as spheres, it would actually make a great ornamental type piece in the environment. So if you've got family issues at home, then you would put a piece in your living space, and that would perhaps enhance and promote healthy relationships. Certainly meditating, you could hold it if you've got a tumbled stone. I put this image in here of the, I suppose, a bit of a shard, because I think that's particularly beautiful. That actually would be a piece that I would hold when meditating. I think the way I would most likely use it is as a pendant, actually, because it's got the chakra associations. I think I would wear it as a necklace because it's close to my throat chakra, and there's going to be that automatic ambient energy that goes into your brow and your crown chakra anyway, and down into your heart. But at the same time, what else would I do? Tumbled stone in your bra, I definitely would be doing that. And then if you're into gridding, yes, you could use it. I think I was just thinking too, as I look at this, as a necklace or a pendant, that can actually have that double benefit of being an amulet, a protection amulet or a talisman. There was something else I was thinking there that I would use it for. Let me just pause while I remember. Oh, it's gone in my brain and it's gone out again as quick as. So if you can think of other ways to use it, by all means. I know what I was going to say. As soon as you give up on something, the thought comes to the surface again. It's not necessarily suitable uses. It's just the reminder that you're working really on those higher chakras. So you've got to ground afterwards. So perhaps if you're going to use and meditate, have a grounding crystal in your hand at the same time. And I'll leave that to your suggestions. I mean, tourmaline, the black type crystals and the brown type crystals, they tend to be very grounding. Even hematite actually is quite grounding as well. As far as the crystal message goes, my gut instinct is actually that the primary message is to release the fear of the unknown, because when we're frightened, well, fear blocks progress anyway, but the fear of the unknown is a huge barrier. And it definitely blocks us from accessing the higher realms and connecting with our guides or the intuitive aspect of self. And even the capacity to be able to express ourselves. So for me, it's like, let go of the fear, choose to live authentically with integrity, make that conscious decision to raise your vibration to the highest levels that you can, so that you're able to fulfill your divine pathway, your divine plan, and to be able to get the information on what the next steps are for you to be able to achieve it. I think there's another aspect to this as well, which is that release judgment on people and situations, and recognize that even when there's conflict with other people, there is a divine spark within all of us. There is that namaste, that centerpiece. And just because we're different doesn't make either of us right, wrong, or whatever. We are what we are. So while iolite is reasonably hardy, if you were going to be caring for it, particularly if you've got things like spheres, tumbled stones and that, we tend to be able to psychologically cope a bit better if they were to break or shatter or whatever. But basically, it's got those little fractures in it, and so it might break if you were to drop it on your tiled bathroom floor. But generally speaking, it's going to be reasonably hardy and able to tolerate a lot of things. However, I doubt that it would cope with one of those ultrasonic cleansers or cleaning machines or whatever. So it's just a straightforward recommendation that if it does need a wash, then, or to get rid of dust, or if you've got children with sticky fingers that like to pick up the ornaments, you might need to rinse it with a little bit of soapy water, and it needs to be mild soapy water. Avoid all harsh chemicals and cleaning type products because they can actually cause damage. What else have I got? Storage is going to be a factor, because you would store it away from harder crystals. If you tend to put your crystals together, you wouldn't put it with something that might scratch the surface or to chip your iolite. And the other thing is, when you've got those little lines and natural fractures, basically they're flaws, aren't they? Perfect flaws, I like to think. Vulnerabilities, actually. When it comes to clearing and cleansing it for your metaphysical use, as always, I've got a link to the video where I've got a dedicated video to that. I always use selenite. I love selenite. Sometimes I might use the smudging. Sometimes I might put them out in the sun. Iolite I would not put out for longer periods to the Australian sun, and I actually wouldn't keep it on the windowsill, because I have no doubt here in Australia during our summer months it would actually fade all that beautiful blue out of it. But otherwise, I think that's about it, unless you can give us some tips. I think I forgot to mention selenite as being my preferred option. I've got so much selenite around. I've got a lot of rulers, so I think I would be inclined to rest the working pieces of iolite that I use on the selenite when I'm not using them. But anyway, besides that, I would say, look, that's about as far as my brain can stretch this week for this video. I think I'm all thought out now. I think my brain's just gone AWOL. So for now, I'm going to say, look, thank you very much for being part of my journey. Have a wonderful day. Feel free to add your own comments. If you are a local, I will bring some along to the next crystal night and you can have a look yourself. And I'm pretty sure that the Iolite tumbles that I'm getting, that they will be an affordable price for people if they're looking to buy some. But for now, though, I'm just going to say, look, love you, leave you, catch you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.